Hey everybody, welcome back. In this video, we're going to go through the Declaration of Independence, so let's get right to it. Alright, so the Declaration of Independence is almost certainly the most famous document in American history. There are a lot of passages that people who aren't even really good at school or know very much about government or political science that they could even recite and would probably recognize. If I were to say things like, all men created equal, or life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Again, these are basic ideas that almost everybody is familiar with on some level. Now, that's kind of the point, because the Declaration of Independence, it's not a document that has legal power over us today, so why we care about it in AP government is the fact that it kind of set the ideals that this nation was founded upon. So let's consider some of the most important ideas from this very short document. We're going to start with natural rights. In AP Gov, natural rights are thought of as being one of the foundational principles that this government is founded upon, and we get a good description of that in this sentence, this really famous sentence. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now, there's a lot to unpack in that single sentence. For instance, we see the goal of equality. He says that this is self-evident, that all men are created equal. But then he goes a little bit further. He says that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights. The idea here is that there are certain rights that we have naturally, ones that don't come from man, that don't come from any government, in fact. And then Jefferson identifies three of these. He says life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Now later in the Bill of Rights, specifically the Fifth Amendment, we're going to see kind of a callback to that sentence where it mentions life, liberty, and property. Another main idea of this document is that of the social contract. And while Jefferson doesn't use those words, social contract, the idea is clearly there. In the first part of this sentence, Jefferson says that to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men, deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed. So here it gives us exactly what Jefferson thinks is the purpose of government. The purpose of government is to secure these rights. Well, what rights is he talking about? Well, that's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, the natural rights. So he's telling us exactly why men would come together and form a government. They do so because they need to protect their rights. So that social contract, it's the idea that the purpose of government is in fact to protect the rights of the people. Well, where does the government get its power from? This is the idea of popular sovereignty, and in that same part of the sentence, we again see the foundations here for popular sovereignty. Notice that Jefferson says that these governments derive their just powers from the consent of the governed, meaning that the governed, the people, that they consent to this government having certain power. So again, we see that people are clearly the source of governmental power. And as we go on and read the rest of the sentence, we see this again clearly established for us. Jefferson says that when governments become destructive of these ends, meaning that they aren't protecting people's natural rights, he says it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it and to institute a new government. So again, we see clearly the idea that people are the source of government's power. Now, you might also be familiar with the idea that Jefferson had the list of grievances where he said, here's why we're breaking up with you to England, right? That's not something we're going to be as concerned with in AP government, but the idea that Jefferson felt the need to justify and give the reasons and explain why, that's something that we can look at a little bit. And we can also ask the question, how well has the United States lived up to these values? Because these are some beautiful words, all men created equal, talking about the purpose of government being to secure people's life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Has the U.S. government done a good job of actually securing these rights? Have they secured those rights for everybody or for just some people? So these are questions that continue to reverberate today in 2020 and beyond. And we can even view the Declaration of Independence as kind of an inspiration for modern social movements. When we see people marching and demonstrating and demanding equality, demanding to be part of that all men created equal that Jefferson wrote about all those years ago. So what do you think? How well has the United States done in living up to these words? Are they getting closer? Are they getting further away? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. That's it for this episode, so until next time, this has been a La Money production. Thanks again for watching this video. I really appreciate it. If it helped you, please do me a favor, hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're just finding my channel, again, I have tons of great content on all the required documents and cases and everything you need for AP Gov. I also created an amazing resource called the AP Gov Ultimate Review Packet. The link is down below. Make sure that you check it out. I'll see you next time.